back to my channel. This is just a little quick update video really. I'm in my bathrobe, just had a bath, hence why I'm in my bathrobe. But yes, I just wanted to do an update video because I haven't had time to speak for a little while. I just thought, well, I've got a couple of moments, so I might as well do one now. So yeah, it's just an update video really on just generic stuff going on in my life. So I am still waiting for my COVID vaccine because of my OCD, my contamination OCD, germophobia. Obviously I can't go to a vaccination clinic. I can't go in anyone's car because I'm OCD. I don't drive myself, so my only option is to have a vaccination at home. But that obviously is delaying matters. Because obviously it's harder, I guess, logistically for them to administer vaccines at home. It is rather infuriating nonetheless, because I have been waiting now for what seems like an inordinately long period of time. I'm getting incredibly, I sort of feel like I'm being left behind because I'm seeing lots of other people being vaccinated ahead of me. Like my brother's had his vaccination now, he has the Moderna one, he had his last week. So I'm feeling a bit grieved on that count, particularly as my dad has been banging on at them since April about how important it is. Obviously my risk of catching COVID is low because I'm not going anywhere, but I do feel I'm in quite a vulnerable situation because if something happened, say like an emergency where I had to go somewhere, it would be incredibly traumatising and would potentially result in quite severe meltdowns because of the extent of my germophobia, even if I needed to go somewhere, like say it's an emergency, which hopefully that won't happen, but obviously it does mean I am in quite a kind of vulnerable situation because obviously there's always the risk or potential of that happening, and in order for me to be able to go somewhere potentially in that circumstance, I need to have the security of vaccination, which will obviously reduce the likelihood of trauma and meltdowns in that situation. That makes me feel quite nervous because I don't know how I'd cope in that situation because I just physically feel I can't leave I can't go anywhere where there's people, but that obviously means I can't go to the dentist. Obviously I couldn't go to the dentist before because I've got a major dental phobia which I need to overcome, but I'm just using it as an example. Like say if I needed to go to the dentist, like say I had an emergency with my teeth or something, which I don't, but if you never know what might happen, I wouldn't physically be able to go because of the extent of my OCD, so that would put my health in a compromising situation. But they don't seem to understand this when it comes down to mental health. They're very lackadaisical, if you ask me. It's not. I have Googled this, by the way, and I have found out I'm not the only one. For older people, back in earlier in the year, I know that older people, like people in their sort of 90s even, who were like homebound effectively, were getting left behind in the vaccination. Some of them were still hadn't received their first vaccination in March, so my guess is they're still waiting for their second. Obviously they would have been done by now, but they're probably still, some of them are probably still waiting for their second because like they seem to be really delayed in doing the homebound people, and I feel that's really wrong because obviously if you are homebound through physical or mental reasons, there's a reason for that, and obviously you're going to be by definition disabled, either mentally or physically, mentally in my case, and that obviously means that you are basically at greater risk. Obviously for those physical, it's the risk of death obviously, and that's the risk that they need to take on board first, quite rightly so, but they do seem to kind of neglect the kind of those with mental health problems, I feel, which obviously, it goes with physical needs obviously come first, obviously, it goes without saying, but the people with mental health problems, they seem to kind of neglect them, and I do feel that their ineptitude when it comes to delivering vaccines to people who are homebound is quite concerning because we live in the 21st century, we live in a modern developed country, we have the infrastructure, so I don't quite understand why it's such a problem delivering vaccines to people at home. I mean, I know it's obviously a lot harder, obviously, and it is obviously harder, but I don't live out in the sticks. I live like really close to the doctor's surgery. Like I can literally walk there. It's a kind of, I live so close to the doctor's surgery. It really should not be an issue for them to deliver it to me at home. I shouldn't have to wait this long. Yeah, and it's concerning. It's actually concerning. I just feel they need to kind of get their act together when it comes to doing home visits. Because, thankfully I'm healthy, but obviously, my issue is my mental health. But say if I was an elderly person who could literally die from COVID, like, no one lives in a vacuum. Right? Okay, those housebound elderly people might be less risk of catching COVID than, say, their peers who are going out and about, but no one lives in a vacuum. Presumably they have home helps coming to help them who might bring COVID into the home. So they're still actually at risk, and because they're homebound, I'm talking here about the elderly homebound people who were neglected back at the start as well, who are actually at risk of death. The ones who are homebound are actually going to be the most vulnerable in that respect. So that's really bad. So it's not just for those with mental problems they're leaving behind, but it's even worse. They're leaving behind those who could actually die from COVID, which is really bad. Because the homebound people I just feel are being completely and utterly neglected in this whole pandemic. So there's that. Yes. So I just feel there's a lot of wrong, and it never gets talked about in the news either. Never. It seems to be all the assumption now that everyone's getting vaccinated, it's all great, but actually those who are homebound. I mean, I think presumably all the elderly homebound people would have been done by now, but like those who have like mental problems in younger age groups, or not just mental problems, but even those with physical problems, some of them might not be able to get out, for a whole range of reasons, are being neglected. It's just really wrong. And it's pissing me off, basically. And it's not being talked about, and that's concerning, because I feel there's something amiss here. Anyway, that's good stuff about vaccines. So, yes, I'm still waiting. I was told it was going to be in June, but obviously I knew that was a lie, because I'm used to being lied to, basically. Now, some people say it's not a lie, but if someone tells me something, and they say it as fact, right? So they say, oh, we're going to do it in June, it will be this month, and they don't keep their promise. To me, that is a lie. I mean, look up the definition of a lie. A lie, by definition, is when someone tells you something that is then not done, right? A lie is when you're told a falsitude, isn't it? If they said they might do it in June, but we don't know for certain, that wouldn't be a lie. But the fact is they said they were going to do it this month. I'm not surprised, though. I said to people earlier on, I said, oh, I bet they're lying to me, because people always lie to me. I bet this won't happen, Yeah, and I've been vindicated here, because unless by some miracle they do it tomorrow, which I don't think is going to happen, they've missed the target. So yes, pissed off again. But I'm used to being messed around, that's the other thing. I hate it when people tell me things that aren't true. It's another one of my real people. But as I've got older, I've just kind of again, cynical. I just think, well, people can't be trusted. I get older and I get wiser. But even so, it still hurts. Because you feel you've been, you're told something, you get your hopes up. So yeah, and it feels like you're being played with. I just wish people would be honest to me. I feel there's a lot of dishonesty and it really pisses me off. If I tell someone something, I will keep my word. I expect other people to do the same to me. It's common decency. I guess, I don't know, if I tell someone I'm going to do something and I say, oh, I'm going to do it this month, I will jolly well do it that month because I've told them I'll do it that month. I don't forget things either, and yet other people, all the time, they say things, oh, we'll do it this month, and then they don't do it that month. Yeah, no wonder I can't trust people, and why people irritate me. So there's that. But anyway, moving on to more cheerful subjects. Another thing, so that's the vaccine situation anyway. So yeah, so I'm not really going out. Obviously I do go out for my walk every day, that's it, I go out for an hour's walk. According to some ignorant black and white thinkers, can you see the irony? Apparently that means you're not homebound. But if you're only going somewhere, if you're literally just walking around the block and you're literally not going anywhere, I can't go into any shops. My dad does my shopping for me. I can't go anywhere near people. I avoid people like a proverbial plague. I literally avoid them. By avoid them, I mean avoid them completely. I go around the same walk every day, I walk the same paths repetitively. I do that because I'm very health conscious and I need my exercise, I need my vitamin D, so I try and do that for an hour every day to keep myself healthy physically, because I don't want to let things slip, That's very important, even though it feels like climbing Mount Everest every time I leave house. I hate it, and it's so stressful and tiring. But I have to do it. I'm very disciplined like that. But yeah, my dad had to explain to some ignoramus at the doctor's surgery why that still means I'm housebound. Because she's like, oh, well, if you go out for a walk, that means you're not housebound. It's like some bloody Roman, I don't know, it's like something out of a John Cleese sketch, the pedants, pedantry. It's another issue. Yeah, that's ironic, isn't it? Autistics are meant to be ones who are black and white, and yet so many people in positions of power are black and white. Yeah, it's a nightmare having to try to explain yourself when you're disabled, because people don't seem to get the nuance of it. It's like if you go out, oh, you're fine, it doesn't matter, you're just going the same route every day, same repetitive route. You go out, oh, you're fine, Actually, yeah, I'm going to move on to video number 2 now, because I want to talk about something a bit more cheerful in the next video. So, moving on to video number 2 now.